Welcome to NFL Bourbon Madness. Which team is going to move on to round two? Let's find out. What is going on, everybody? Nathan here with the Everyday Drinker, bringing us a brand new video. Today, we are on episode number 3, round number 1 of our NFL Bourbon Madness. Make sure you guys let me know in the comments below if your team is still in it, if your bottle is still in it, if you're bandwagoning a bottle or a team for this entire extravaganza. If you're brand new, make sure you go check out the other 2 videos in this entire series to see which teams and bourbons moved on to round number 2 and which ones got kicked off. Make sure you guys drop that subscribe, leave a like down below, check the link out down below as well for the Patreon. But without further ado, let's get into round number 1. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you are unaware, we have one team on the left and one team on the right. You are going to know what those teams and bottles are on the screen right now. We have team 27 on the left and team number 8 on the right. Now, we're going to start left and then right and then go right to left. So here we go, quick nose and then getting right into the palate. So here we go, team 27 on the left. Ooh, very sweet nose, very, very sweet. Vanilla icing, very, very enjoyable. Smells a little lighter. Oh man, I love that nose. Let's get into the palate. Very sweet, candy-like, almost powdery, sugary-like in a way. It tastes, it's got a really nice mouthfeel. It's got a little bit of a proof, but not too much. It's not substantial. It's not blowing my socks off. But it also has enough proof to be something that I was like, wow, that's lingering for a little bit longer than what I expected it to off of the nose. Let's move on to the glass on the right, which is, again, team number 8. A little darker on the nose. I get a little bit more like a cherry note, like a rich Demerara sugar. Maybe a little brown sugary note in there, a little cinnamon, sweet cinnamon. Let's get into the palate. The palate is really, really nice, but I don't know if it's as like sweet and just like rich as the one on the left. This is a very, very close battle right here, these two. These are both really heavy hitters, and it's a shame that one of them has to go. Wow, I really like the mid palate of 8 a lot. But I like the nose, the beginning palate, and the finish on Team 27 a little bit more. So our first winner of our first 1 o'clock game is going to go to Team 27. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our second 1 o'clock game for the afternoon. We have team number 1 going up against team number 28. We started on our left the last time. We're going to start on our right this time. So here we go with team 28. Ooh, appley, very appley, crisp, like Granny Smith, almost tart like apples. A little pear. Very, very sweet, like stone fruity on this nose. Really, really pleasant. My goodness. This nose is delicious. Let's get in the palate. It's got proof. It's got sweetness. It's got some oaky presence. It's got a little tinge of a bitterness that, you know, is counterbalanced with the sweetness off of this. And this is scrumptious. This is wonderful. Whatever Team 28 is, has really, really good like flavor notes throughout it. It's vanilla, it's lemony, it's the apple follows through with that sweet oak. It's like an apple wood. Oh my god. There's a little hint of maple in this. This is incredible. Let's move on to our team on the left, team number 1. A little bit different. This I got a little bit of a dirty toilet off of that. That the nose wasn't the best initial nose that I've ever smelled in my entire life. I'll tell you that right now. I just don't know. Let's get in the palate. The nose is not doing it for me. Here we go. Yeah, this isn't even a battle. This is a complete blowout. This one is just, it falls flat. It doesn't have anything, in my personal opinion, that competes with this one whatsoever. This one came out with a bang, scored on the first drive, got an interception on the second, and is just going all out. And it's a complete, just 55-0 blowout. Team 28 is moving on to round number 2. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 4 o'clock scheduled game. Some might say this is the America's Game of the Week. I think those fall at 4 o'clock. I'm not quite sure. Sometimes they do. You know, if those 4 o'clocks, you have a really heavy hitter game. This is what it's going to be. We got team number 30 on our left and team number 2 on our right. And we went left, right. Now we go to the left. And here we are. Let's find out what this glass has to offer. Oh wow, that's so sweet, delicious. Light cherry notes, creme brulee in a glass. I get I don't get the custard in a creme brulee, but I get that burnt sugar on the top. That's what I'm getting. Just like that burnt sugar. It smells so nice. Oh man, that nose is beautiful. Let's get in the palate. It's really good. It's really good. It's got a little kick. It's got a little bit of a proofy punch to it, but it coats everything, all the nooks and crannies, gives you what you want in a really nice sweet bourbon. Nothing sticks out like, oh my God, this is the best thing I've ever had, but there's nothing that says, oh my God, this is the worst thing I've ever had. This is a very neutral sip. It just sits on your tongue as just very, very sweet and enjoyable from beginning to end. And you know, if that's what you're looking for in a sip, that's what you're gonna get off of this one right here. But without further ado, we got one more glass on the right to get into, and that is team number 2. So here we go on the nose. I got a little bit of a licorice note. The nose is going in and burning the back of my throat somehow, and I don't know how that's possible. But here we go. Let's get in the palate. Nose isn't as good as 1. It's darker, but it leaves a little bit of a bitter note on the tongue that I'm not the biggest fan of off of the bat. Let's give it one more sip. It kind of just gives me a little bit of like a youngness. Or like it's like over oaked. Those two things kind of like intertwine with me for a little, and I'm just not finding anything that I'm like, wow, this gives me something that is better than the one on the left. Like I wanted this one to just give me something that was like, holy cow, that is incredible, to knock this off, because you know this was just your like just straight line, just sweet and enjoyable. I wanted this one to just have that spike. And it just didn't have that spike, and for that reason, we've got to give Team 30 the win for round number 1, moving on to round number 2. As Carrie Underwood puts it, I've been waiting all day for Sunday night. Here we are on our final game for this episode. We've got Team 24 on the left, and we've got Team 13 on the right. We went left, then we went right, then we went left, and now we are finishing with Team 13 starting off with the ball on the right. Here we go. Let's get into the nose. Sweet, lemony, citrusy, really, really pleasant. Gives a little bit of like a oaky presence there in the middle of that nose. I get a little bit of that like the coffee crumble on top of like the coffee cakes. A little powdered sugar note, cinnamony. Really, really pleasant nose on this. Let's get into the palate. That is just a darn good sip of whiskey right there. From the nose into the palate, into the finish, into just what you're experiencing. It sucks out the moisture on your tongue, makes you salivate, makes you really enjoy that. Wow, that is incredible. The finish is still going. Wow. That is delicious. That is freaking delicious. Holy, oh my God. I don't know if Team 24 has a chance. That is really freaking dark. But here we go. Get in the nose. Coffee, espresso, dark chocolate. Marshmallowy. The nose is good. I'll give you that. The nose on Team 24 might be the best nose of the day so far. A little bit of a tea note, but the more prevalent nose on this is that rich coffee, really nice dark chocolate note that just lingers and just finishes on the back end of that nose with a nice sweet marshmallow. Let's get into the palate. That's got to be a double oaked, and I don't know what to do with this, because that is wowza. That's wowza. That's wowza. This is what you're looking for in a in the final showdown, the best of the best going head to head on an 8 o'clock game. It's one of those two juggernauts going head to head, and this is the nose is so nice. The nose is so nice. I don't know if I should classify this as like just like a defensive match where it's like 0-0 going into it, or if it's an offensive matchup where it's just back and forth, high scoring game. It's like 36-34 going into the final drive. I just don't know what to classify this as, because the nose on the right and into the palate just matches so beautifully. And the same thing happens on the left, and it's just they're so different in profiles that it's hard to like pick a favorite. But obviously I'm gonna have to have a winner on these. The nose into the palate on the one on the right is just through and through beautiful. The one on the left here, I'll give you one thing that I wasn't, after I sipped it and nosed it again. I got leather shoelaces. I got leather shoelaces, and that was an off-putting thing. Usually I like a little bit of a leathery note, but when I'm thinking about shoelaces specifically, I'm not the biggest fan of that. But the palate is just so rich, so enjoyable, and so dense and deep and rich that I think I have to give the win to the one on the left. Team 24 is moving on to round number 2. All right, ladies and gentlemen, these were our 4 bottles of whiskeys. Moving on to round number 2, we had Team 27, Team 28, Team 30, and Team 24 moving on to round number 2. The other 4 bottles, unfortunately they lost. This was probably the hardest round of the episode of the 3 so far, because we had a couple of those losers that definitely could have beat out some of the other winners. It was just the luck of the draw on whatever bottle went up against each other. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know down in the comments below if your team has been kicked out or if you are moving on to round number 2. Until next time, this has been Nathan with the Everyday Drinker. Cheers.